Hello, if you have seen my recent social media post, you will know that somebody compared me to Sojourner Truth. They said that I was the Sojourner Truth of voice. They don't even know. They do not even know what that comment did to me. I mean, come on. To be compared in any way to a powerhouse of a woman such as Sojourner Truth, it is humbling, it is an honor, and I do not take it lightly. But what it also did for me was flash me all the way back to grammar school. In grammar school, I studied the life of Sojourner Truth, and I would recite the misnomered speech, "Ain't I a woman?" And I've been talking a lot lately about vocal bias, about how Black people, especially Black women, the imaginations of others have tried to come and impose themselves against our voices. And that is exactly what happened to Sojourner Truth and her speech that she gave. Now, this woman, Frances Gage, was an abolitionist. And she was also a poet. And 12 years after Sojourner Truth's original speech, she releases Ain't I a Woman, which was very, very unsimilar or dissimilar to the original speech. Yet that was the one that was palatable for the America at large at that time. To have Sojourner Truth represented as a Southern slave in her voice, it was easier for even abolitionists and people who wanted liberation to accept, rather than hear Sojourner Truth as a full English speaking citizen without a broken dialect. Isn't that very interesting? So what I want to do is I want to recite Ain't I a Woman? And then I'll do a part 2 where I actually recite the original speech. Now, I'm going to read it a bit. It's been many, many years since I have recited this, but I'll give it my best shot, okay? Listen to the dialect. Oh, and before I do that, just for those of you who don't know, Sojourner Truth was born of a Ghanaian father, and her mother was from Guinea, and she was raised by Dutch slave owners in upstate New York. So how could she ever have a Southern slave dialect? Okay, keep that in mind. Well, chillin', where there's so much racket, there must be something out of kilter. I think that twixt the niggas of the South and the women of the North all talking about rights, white man gonna be in a fix pretty soon. But what's all this here talking about? That man over there say that women needs to be helped in the cages and over itches, and I had a best place everywhere. Nobody ever helps me in the cages or over mud puddles or gives me any best place. And ain't I a woman? Look at my arm. Look at this arm. I've plowed and planted and gathered into barns where no man could head me. And ain't I a woman? I could work as much and eat as much as a man when I can get it, and bear the lash as well. And ain't I a woman? I've borne 13 children. Seen them most all sold off to slavery. And when I cried out with a mother's grief, none but Jesus heard me. And ain't I a woman? Then they talks about this thing in the head. What does they call it? That's it, honey. That's it. Intellect. What that got to do with a woman's rights or a nigger's rights? If my cup won't hold but a pint and yourn holds a quart, wouldn't you be mean not to let me have my little half measure full? Then that man in black there, that man, he say, women can't have as much rights as men cause Christ wasn't a woman. Where did your Christ come from? Where did your Christ come from? From God and a woman. Man had nothing to do with it. And if the first woman God ever made was strong enough to turn this world upside down all alone, then these women together ought to be able to get it right side up again. And now they's asking to. And the men better let them. Obliged to you for hearing on me. And now old Sojourner Truth ain't got nothing more to say. In the mind of another. That was Francis Gage's interpretation or projection of a Southern slave dialect upon Sojourner Truth, a upstate New York dweller. Stay tuned for part 2 when I give her original speech. Now, I want to tell you, if you are interested in learning more about vocal bias and how it is affecting us, Black people in the culture, even in this climate, message me. If you want me to come out and speak to your company or your employees about vocal bias, how to overcome it, once again, message me. And if you just happen to be someone who wants to really be able to utilize your voice by expanding your vocal repertoire, to be able to use every nuance of your voice to impact every listener, every time you open your mouth, message me at vocalculturegarden.com or find me on any of the social platforms at Vocal Culture Garden. Thank you and stay tuned for part 2.